Welcome to heaven on Buzzard Rock. What a beautiful sunrise. And Buzzard Rock is in the bag. Those descents and ascents on the rocks so far are quite wet. My feet are a little wet now, but I am thankful they're wet and not icy. It could be much worse. Always count your blessings. Wet dries. Ice, if it makes you fall and break a hip or an arm or a leg, that doesn't dry. That's going to take a minute to heal. So I will always take wet rocks, even though they're not fun. I will take wet rocks over icy rocks. Some sunrise, huh? Well, I got to do what I was hoping I'd get to do. Get the sunset on Buzzard Rock, and then get the sunrise the next morning before heading out. Very happy about that, and it was epic both times. It was a hard climb up Buzzard Rock at the end of the day. Lately, I haven't been getting real tired or worn out. Just kind of feel like I could keep going and going and going, even on those 27, 28, 29 mile days. I feel like I could still have quite a bit in me. But that depleted me. I feel great now, don't get me wrong. I felt great after I was done, just while I was doing it. And then once I got up to the top of Buzzard Rock, wow, I was worn out. This hat's coming off soon. I'm already starting to get a little warm. Just have my base layer on for pants, and a base layer and t-shirt up top. So that's definitely coming off soon. Don't want that to get wet. So Buzzard Rock is a summit on White Top. White Top summit goes up, you can go up a road to get to it. I think there's even a trail from Buzzard Rock, but the views are not that great, antennas and everything. So I'm actually going around that this year. I don't normally go around summit opportunities, but today is all about miles, getting as many miles in as I can. Going through the Grayson Highlands today. It's going to be beautiful and epic, but it is supposed to rain today, so I want to get as far as I can, just in case tomorrow's a slower day, or less miles, in other words, because of the sloshing around, or just too hard to, really get the miles or whatever, or too hard of rain, I should say. So that's the plan, is just get as many miles as I can. I'm also going to, here in 5 miles, I'm going to be at Mount Rogers. You go up a side trail for half a mile in the evergreens to get to the summit of Mount Rogers. I am also going to forego that, but that is actually a good reason, because it is the highest peak, highest summit, high point of Virginia, and I've already summited that one. That is already in my list of state high points that I've summited, so I do not need to summit that one and put it in the bag, because it's already in the bag. Now with the Appalachian Trail, I've summited a lot of these mountains already, but I took them all out of the bag so I could put them all back in this year. I guess that's the way I'll look at that. But yeah, I'm going to forego Mount Rogers as well. That's just an extra mile that I don't need today, because I want it to all be on the trail, except for, side trails for water or whatnot. So, let's see, what else? Sleep last night. I'm a little bummed at myself. One of the worst decisions I've ever made on a tent spot. Oh my goodness. So I was up at Buzzard Rock. I got the sunset, and then I went backwards, because forwards you have to go quite a ways before you're under trees again, and it was just way too windy up top, and it was lumpy. There was really no good place to put the tent. So I went back a little bit. It was only like 0.1, 0.2 miles, and there was some trees there. They look like mountain laurel, but I don't know for sure. So a little tree garden, and I went in there and set up my tent. I was like, well, this will give me good protection from the wind, which it did. Unfortunately, you get it? I said unfortunately, and my name is Fortune. Unfortunately, Fortune, you set your tent up on a slant like this. Oh my goodness. I've been on slants before. They're not fun. You slide a lot, but this was extreme. I don't know what I was thinking last night when I thought, oh, this is just a slight little slant. I can put up with this for the night. I mean, I'll probably have broken sleep, but that's okay. It felt like the mountain was pulling me down. And then I seen all these lights on the other side of the tree, which was down in the valley, like a town or homes or something. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm glad this tent is tied down, because I don't want to go slaloming in the middle of the night in my tent and end up in a town going off the mountain. Obviously, I wouldn't end up in a town. I would probably end up in a hospital, but I digress. That didn't happen, and that wasn't going to happen. I'm just poking fun at it because I was miserable, absolutely miserable. That's why I didn't talk a lot for the first couple miles of the day, because I was a little annoyed, and I didn't want that to come through too badly on the video. The sunrise this morning definitely helped. That was beautiful, and the walk so far today has been absolutely gorgeous and beautiful as well. So, note to self, don't sleep on something so slanted. Take an extra couple minutes and try to find a different place. Now, mind you, it was dark. I had been looking for 10 minutes or so. I was just done. I wanted to set my tent up and eat and go to bed. So, I had my reasons, but probably should have been a little more patient, because all I kept doing all night is sliding everywhere. Every time I moved, sliding all the way down. It was bad. It was funny, though, now that I look back at it, but it was very moist. The outside of the tent was very dewy. The inside of the tent was very much condensation. It's just wet everywhere. Like every rock I've sat or leaned against so far has been soaked too. So just a very humid morning. Hopefully that dries out before I camp tonight. I will try to make that happen. if I stop for a break or whatnot. So anyway, I've talked long enough. That was my night last night. And as bad and annoying as it was, I had 2 epic events before and after. Sunset the night before, sunrise this morning. How can I complain? I'm living life. The trail comes down through Elk Garden, and there's a privy there with some trash bins, so it's always good. Got to get rid of some of my trash, and that's the first privy I've used since I've been out here on trail. I like to do it the natural way. My business meetings need to be in the forest and on the mountains. So now I climb up this meadow, which is starting to climb Mount Rogers. Like I said, I'm not going to go to the very top of the summit where it splits off of the AT. I'm just going to stay on the AT. But this is the beginning part of the climb. I mean, I'm already up almost 4,000 feet in the air, or 4,500 feet in the air, so I guess I've already begun it. But this is, once you cross that gap, you're actually on Mount Rogers, the way I understand it. So it's the beginning part of the climb, and I'm going to begin some really epic views here soon. I love a good meadow. I don't know if I've told you that before. That right there almost looks like something out west. Took a little break earlier. Came across a really nice tree that was down, and kind of a flat part, very similar to this kind of look of forest. This on both sides. I'm starting to climb again now, but that was there on both sides, and it looked inviting. Real talk, having one of those mornings, at least in the last hour or so, where I just feel blah. Feels like a zombie walking. Just, I don't want to say depleted, because it's nothing physical. It's just, yeah, for lack of words, I'll just show you, kind of like this. That's what it feels like I was walking. So I thought, maybe I just need to sit down and eat. There's several reasons for it. I'm always going to be real on this channel. And like I've told you before, there's going to be really good times, and then there's going to be not as good of times, and then there's going to be times you just have to push through. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was something that, you're just happy all the time, everybody would do it for the grandeur. But sometimes you got to physically work for those views and those summits, and sometimes you have to mentally work for those views. And this is one of those mentally days. Well, it was. And then I sat down and ate my second meal of the day already. It's not even 10 yet. And a lot of calories. But normally when I eat, I'm standing or I'm walking or I'm rushing 5 or 10 minutes and then heading off, just because I don't like to sit. But for some reason I felt like sitting this time, so I sat on a log and sat there for a good 15 minutes or so. Just started looking at all that. All of a sudden a peace came over me. I don't know, I think there was some turmoil in my spirit or soul that needed to be reset. So, a lot of reasons for that. The lack of sleep last night, the, torturous sleep, if you will, sliding off the pad, sliding down to the bottom of the tent. All right, so Appalachian Trail turns up this way. There was that. I got in late, so I didn't cook. I just ate a bunch of calories, which that is going to happen sometimes. Still pounding the calories, just not cooking, so I didn't get that warm rib sticking meal. Oh, never mind. That happens at diners. But there was, like I said, doing all that, and like I've told you before, having a big elevation day and then going straight to bed, that makes it hard to sleep too. So it was just sleeping hard, getting up early because wanting that sunset, the adrenaline and excitement there. And some of it just can't be explained. Sometimes you just have one of those days where you're feeling blah. And so I sat down, had a bunch of calories, even more than I had this morning, or early, first thing this morning, and got an electrolyte drink, grabbed a bag of Skittles out of my bear can that was a Trail Magic here several days ago that I totally forgot about. So I was munching on those once I started walking again. And I'm telling you right now, Skittles will make you a better thru-hiker. Okay, maybe not, but now I learned to eat Skittles back in the desert because your mouth would get really dry from the dry heat and the sand. You obviously keep drinking water and electrolyte drinks as much as possible, but those Skittles or Starburst, either one, helps hydrate the mouth for some reason. I don't know why. The citrusy flavor or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'm feeling great now. But there's certain times you just have to stop. And it's not even about the food, or it's about things happen that make you just go, I don't want to do this today. But I did want to do this today. I just had a moment of that for a few miles, a couple miles maybe. And I'm glad I listened to myself and sat down instead of just trudging through and, possibly getting a little worse, because like I said, something was in turmoil there in my spirit or soul, and it just needed to have a reset moment. I'm feeling good now, looking around those trees and realizing the beauty you're in with the mountains. Sometimes you just need to stop and reflect. And I take it in more than most people I know. Even though I'm getting high mileage, I take it all in. It's all healing to me. But sometimes you just have to stop even more than that and just let it heal you some more. And then move on and conquer the day. This section of forest is gorgeous. This reminds me of the PNW here. About 5,300 feet up right now. Just about 300 or 400 less than what Mount Rogers summit is. So obviously towards the top. And that's usually when either you're above tree line if you're in higher elevation, or this elevation. It's normally when you start seeing the pine or the evergreens. Absolutely stunning. So glad I sat down earlier and had that reset moment, because I am feeling great now. Alive and rejuvenated. And I don't want you to think it was just because of food, because it wasn't. The food definitely helped, but it was just kind of meditating, looking at the trees, looking at the beauty that surrounds me, and just letting my soul and my spirit rest for a minute to reset. And now the beauty begins again. Been stumbling on quite a bit of fresh pony poop. So might be running into some wild ponies here shortly. Sure, see plenty of them through the whole Grayson Highlands, but we're not quite there yet. But this is definitely an area where they still go. I remember when I was in Grayson last time, I seen them before and after the actual highlands, so they graze all over. Don't remember the whole story, but they've been wild ponies in this area since I think the early 1900s or something. Don't remember the whole story though, how it happened. Not seeing any yet, and this is an area I know that they hang out and eat. You well, obviously you can see the fresh poop, so of course they hang out here. But I know, I mean, I can't say I know. We might go this whole way and you and I might not see anything. I'm gonna try to show you if I have anything to do with it. But if they don't want to come out and play with Fortune, or eat around Fortune at least, then can't do much about that. But I'm sure we'll see some. Ah, heck. Why not do it again? Standing on the summit of Mount Rogers, the highest point in the state of Virginia, at about 5,700 feet. All socked in with beautiful greenery and trees. Whew. And Mount Rogers is in the bag. And there it is, the beginnings of the very unique looking Grayson Highlands. Beautiful views, but of course, oh, it is so gorgeous. It reminds me of Northern California, to be honest. Or maybe Northern California reminds me of the Grayson Highlands. It is so beautiful. Gonna be up there in a few minutes. Here's an intersection for a couple different trails. Appalachian Trail then turns going into Grayson Highlands. Pretty cool little area. Some rock formation, some views off in the distance. I don't know how well you can see it right here. Beautiful rock up here. And there's a milestone here, but I don't see a marking for it anywhere. I've looked everywhere. In fact, I've wasted too much time looking for a marking. But I already know where I am because I see it on the map. And 500 miles on the Appalachian Trail is in the bag. And I have hiked 500 miles. And I will hike 500 more. And then I'll hike another 5. And then I'll throw down 4 sets more. I bet you've never heard it that way. Woo! Beautiful. The fat man squeeze. A little tougher than you might think when you have poles in one hand and you have a phone in the other. So cool though. Right. Ow. Son of a gun. Hit my ankle on that rock. That's never fun. Alright, so you get to see this angle. Well, I step down to this big old rock. Then that one. And then here. Hello. Oh, there we go. Alright, made it. I just scraped up my ankle on that one, but all in all, not bad. I was able to fit through because I'm definitely a fat man when my backpack is on. Here, when you get a pole stuck in between the rocks, you keep going forward and your pole just stays there. This is fun. Hello. Could you guys help me? I'm looking for a cheeseburger. There's one. There's 2 and 3 back there. Here's another one over here. That's 4. And then behind this one over there somewhere. 5 of them right here. Not to mention all those mountains back there. In case you haven't noticed, the state of Virginia and Grayson Highlands is just drop dead gorgeous. Standing on the summit of Pine Mountain. Pine Mountain is socked in with trees, elevation of 5,000. Over here was a meadow that I walked through getting here to the summit for about the last quarter of a mile. Not many views, but Pine Mountain is in the bag.